जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया जय गणराया श्री गणराया सिंदूरवदना पंकजरमणा सिंदूरवदना पंकजरमणा सिंदूरवदना पंकजरमणा गणपति बप्पा मोरया सिंदूरवदना पंकजरमणा गणपति बप्पा मोरया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया 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 जय गणराया श्री गणराया
जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिंदूरवदना पंकजरमणा गणपति बप्पा मोरया Victory to Lord Ganesha, the leader of Shiva's army Ganas, who confers auspiciousness and is also full of auspiciousness. Siddhi Vinayaka, upon the request of all gods, Lord Vishnu tried to kill demons, okay, but failed. He then started worshipping Ganesha. With these blessings, he could finally defeat the demons. Hence, the place is called Siddhathek, and Lord Ganesha is called Siddhivinayak. Ashtavinayaka. There are 8 forms of Vinayaka, collectively referred to as Ashtavinayak. The Ashtavinayaka Yatra implies a pilgrimage to the 8 Vinayaka temples, which are found in the Indian state of Maharashtra. Sindura Vadana. Ganesha's body color is of Sindura Varna. As explained in Shiva Purana, as Devi Parvati applied an ointment as Shiva replaced with the head of an elephant. Shiva replaced head of Ganesha had been taken out, and upon the request of Parvati, Shiva had replaced his head with the head of an elephant. And to heal Ganesha of the wounds, Shiva Parvati had applied particular cream, particular application on Ganesha, due to which he got the body color of Sindura. Ganesha Purana states that Ganesha, as a boy, killed Datiya named Sindura, and the color of the Datiya's blood was smeared by Ganesha on his body, due to which he got the Sindura colored body or face. Pankaja Ramana. Pankaja is lotus flower. Ramana means enchanting. Ganesha with enchanting appearance like that of a lotus flower. Ganapati Bappa Moria. There was a great devotee of there are various explanations to this Ganapati Bappa Moria. One of them is like this. In the 14th century, there was a great devotee of Lord Ganesha called Moria Goswami. Tukaram Maharaj and others have endorsed Moria Goswami as one who merged with Ganesha. It is said that Lord Ganesha, happy with Maurya's devotion, appeared in the dreams and granted him a boon. Lord Ganesha declared that every time his name is chanted, it should be followed by Maurya's name. Thus the chant of Ganapati Bappa Moria came. Okay. Another explanation is that when the Visarjan happens subsequent to the Ganesh Chaturthi festival, the devotees address Ganesha as Ganapati Bappa Moria. Hey Ganesha, now you may leave and then you come back to us soon on the next Vinayaka Chaturthi day. Ganesha is the unifying god of all Eastern religions. He is accepted by Vaishnavites as well as Shaivites, also the Buddhists and Jains. The elephant is the most powerful and intelligent animal in the forest. Neither lions nor tigers attack it. It moves through the forest by smashing its way through the dense growth, making a path for other animals. Symbolically, that is why an elephant is referred to as remover of obstacles. The elephant symbolizes the qualities of wisdom and faithfulness. An elephant is usually faithful to only one trainer in a lifetime. This signifies a quality we need to inculcate as regards to parents or our gurus. The small eyes symbolize concentration and single-mindedness. It has four arms, which symbolizes the controller of the four realms of beings, that is, the sea, the land, water, and air. When it has six hands, it includes the subtle lower and higher realms of existence too. In one hand is a pen or an axe or a chakra, which symbolizes knowledge or the power to cut the bonds of ignorance. In one hand is Om or a Bindu, which symbolizes we should meditate on the ultimate reality that lies beyond the Bindu or point of unity of the universe. In one is the lotus, which grows in stagnant water but raises the flower above the waterline so that its purity remains unblemished by the polluted waters underneath. In just the same way, we should live in this world but remain unpolluted by the materialism and negative qualities that permeate our surroundings. In one of his right hands, he holds a hook or ankusha, and in one of his left hands, he holds a noose or pasha. These tools are used by elephant trainers to tame wild elephants. Symbolically, the mind is like a wild elephant running from here to there in chaos, so we must use this ankusha to tame and control our mind, and then use the noose or the pasha to tie it down and keep it close to us. Only then can we concentrate, contemplate, and meditate. In the final hand, he holds sweets that symbolizes the reward you get when you attain mastery over the elements of other hands, mainly the mind. Swami Krishnanandaji Maharaj writes, human life is beset with obstacles. We face oppositions and encounter difficulties galore, and the whole of our daily activity may, in a sense, be considered as a struggle against all odds which come in different forms as the sorrow of life. We are terribly afraid of obstacles. There is no other fear in this world except of obstacles. So we always cry, remove the obstacles, clear the path, cleanse the road. On the fourth day of the bright half of the lunar month of Bhadrapada, August or September, every year, the Lord Ganapati, called the Lord of Hosts, is worshipped throughout India and perhaps in many other parts of the world also. There is no Hindu who does not recognize as the preeminence of the worship of this mysteriously conceived deity called Ganapati, whose name occurs right in the beginning of the Rig Veda itself, the earliest of the scriptures, where pointedly the name is taken in the mantra Gananam Tva Ganapatim Havamahe. Tradition conceives this great remover of obstacles, Vigna Vinashaka, as the son of Lord Shiva, with the face of an elephant, and a protruding belly, with weapons of various types, and with his right hand in a gesture of goodwill, grace, and blessing. The family of Bhagavan Shiva is of a peculiar setup. The Lord of all the worlds lives as one possessing nothing. This manner of living in Kailasha by the great master of yogis, Yogishwara, the Lord Shiva, is perhaps a demonstration of the great definition of the glory of Bhagavan, the supreme being as possessed of all knowledge, all power, and all renunciation. Bhagavan is one who has six characteristics: Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasa, and Shriya, Jnana, Vairagyayo, Shaiva, Shannam, Bhaga, Itirana. The six characteristics mentioned are all Bhaga. One who has all this Bhaga is called Bhagavan. All prosperity, all wealth, all treasure, all glory, all magnificence is Aishwarya. Virya is tremendous energy, force, and power. Yashas is fame, and Shri is prosperity. Jnana and Vairagya are the pinnacle of wisdom and the principle of renunciation. Knowledge is supposed to be a benediction from Lord Shiva himself. In the Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana, at the commencement of the second skanda, Sri Sukha delineates the names of various deities who have to be adored for various purposes. And in that he says, all knowledge is to be expected from the great Shiva. God can teach us without books and without the usual medium of instruction, by a single thought, by a single sound, by a look, a touch, or a benign gesture. Such a master's son is Ganapati, Ganesha. We have endless stories about our gods, and which are highly illuminating. The worship of Mahaganapati with the mantra Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha is a humble submission of the true circumstance of oneself before the might of God's glory. Who can open one's eyes before God? Who can utter one word before Him? Who can boast of one's learning, greatness, etc. before Him? What sadhana, what meditation, what yoga can we do? The moment we begin to take one step in the direction of this holy movement towards God, the world pounces upon us with all its army, because the world is quantitatively larger. The quantity of the world being larger than the quantity of our physical personality, we cannot face it. So there is this humble acceptance of submission and a prayer to the great Almighty as manifested in Ganapati. This humbleness is what with which we concluded the last Atmabodha talk, where Paramahamsa Yoganandaji says, I am the bubble, make me the ocean. And in that, this humbleness, requirement of this humility was dealt by us. his Sakha in the Shivananda ashram before Balakrishna Menon went on to become Chinmaya and went to Tapovan Maharaj. Chinmayanandaji writes, Krishnanandaji's Sakha both learned under the feet of Shivanandaji together. Ganapati is described in the Puranas as having been beheaded and his head replaced with that of an elephant. The idea expressed therein is that man gains profound knowledge and wisdom through study of and reflection on the spiritual truths. Even in common parlance, we figuratively use big head to denote superior wisdom. The intellect or the discriminating faculty in man is said to be located in his head. So too, in Ganesha's supreme wisdom, we find two types of intellectual discrimination, the gross and the subtle. The field of discrimination of the gross is the realm of objects and beings of the world, which is purely objective, whereas the field of the subtle is a subjective discrimination between the real and the unreal, the finite and the infinite, the perishable and the imperishable, etc. In Vigneshwara, there is a happy combination of these two faculties. The idea has been well brought out by the trunk, which generates the intellect protruding from out of his head. The trunk of an elephant has the unique capacity of engaging in both gross activities like uprooting a tree and in subtle operations such as picking a needle from the ground. A man of realization is therefore perfect in his discrimination, judgment, and application, not only in the subtle themes of spiritualism, but also in the gross world of materialism. Such a man of perfection, who is ever rooted in the supreme wisdom, has no longer any likes or dislikes, and consequently, he is not swayed by agreeable or disagreeable circumstances and environments created by such pairs of opposites. The idea is represented by having one of the two tusks broken. Even when man does not create any likes or dislikes by himself, the outside world itself provides disturbances like heat and cold, peace and war, birth and death, and such other trials and tribulations. But in such a godly man, all these external challenges are easily digested in his large stomach. Vinayaka stomachs them all and has always a keen appetite to live life. How beautifully it is explained. The Lord sits with one leg folded up and with the other resting on the ground, which signifies that he is in single pointed concentration upon the Supreme Brahman, while the other leg rooted on ground means that he still lives in the world. At the feet of the Lord is a tiny rat, looking up to him, asking permission, as it were, to eat the luxurious food spread around him. The rat symbolizes the ego or the desire. A rat has a small mouth and a tiny sharp teeth, but with given freedom, slowly consumes even a small grain. Similarly, one little desire entertained by a man can destroy all the wealth and goodness earned by him over many long years. The rat looking up, therefore, denotes that the desires in the man of perfection are kept under perfect control and all his activities are motivated by his clear discrimination rather than an emotional craving to enjoy the variety of sense objects. which are always available in plenty to such a man. There is a common belief that on the Vinayaka Chaturthi day, it is inauspicious to see the moon. The Puranic story goes that the moon saw Ganesha riding on his tiny rat and laughed at the ridiculous scene. Hence, the moon was condemned and the people are forbidden to see her on this day. The moon is the presiding deity of the intellect. The moon laughing at Ganesha riding on his vehicle indicates the lesser and the perverted intellects scoffing at the man of realization who is sincerely endeavoring with his limited equipment to convey the message of the transcendent reality to the mankind. He finds it almost impossible to convey his infinite experience through the medium of the limited ego, the perceiver, feeler, thinker. Hence, we find the words and deeds of all spiritual masters are peculiar and incomprehensible. But the generation who mock at such great souls cease to learn the higher values of life and naturally meet with degradation and disaster. The guru of both Krishnanandaji Maharaj and Chinmayananda, the sage from the Ananda Kutir, as we reverently refer him, Shivananda Maharaj Ji, concludes thus: on Ganesh Chaturthi, meditate on the stories connected with the Lord Ganesha early in the morning during the Brahma Muhurta period. Then, after taking a bath, go to the temple and do the prayers of Lord Ganesha. Temple outside or temple at your home. Offer him some coconut and sweet pudding. Pray with faith and devotion that he may remove all the obstacles that you experience on the spiritual path. Have an image of Lord Ganesha at your home. Feel his presence in it. Take fresh spiritual resolves and pray to God Ganesha for inner spiritual strength to attain success in all your undertakings. The festival ends with the immersion of the idol on the Ananta Chaturdashi day. On that day, statues of God will be taken through the streets in a procession accompanied with dancing, singing, and fanfare to be immersed in a river, sea, lake, or water tank, symbolizing a ritual sea of the Lord in his journey towards his abode to Kailasha, while taking away with him the misfortunes of his devotees. This is the ritual known as Ganesha Visarjan. Lord Ganesha, we pray to you to grant us the supreme intellect. Remove the main obstacles in us, our ignorance, our avidya, which separates us from you, so that we may merge in you in all auspiciousness. Prostrations to you, Lord Ganesha, on this auspicious day of Vinayaka Chaturthi.